And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, January 14th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. What a difference a day makes. It's the weather. The temperature is not a lot different maybe from yesterday. A little rain has fallen. Maybe a little more is going to. But anyway, we're here on a Tuesday to talk about Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, among other things, and remind you that we've talked a lot about the 30 minutes or less ER service pledge because that was begun by Tenova, and it has been continued by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Less waiting where it matters most in the emergency room. In a medical emergency, every minute matters. So at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, they'll do their very best to have faster care for you in their emergency room, working diligently to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less, and with a team of dedicated medical specialties and specialists, they can provide a lot more care if you need it. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And an important date is coming up. We talked about this last week, and it is called Walk Across Wilson. And the kickoff event is scheduled for Saturday, February the 1st. The walk will begin at 8 a.m. and conclude at the Wilson County Courthouse. Then there's a finale celebration on Saturday, March 21st, 9 a.m. at the Wilson County Board of Education, the old Lebanon High School on Harding Drive. And you can go on their website and find out a lot more, or go on Facebook, I guess I should say. You can form a team. You can get active from the 2nd of February through the 29th. And they're calling for all organizations, churches, and schools to get involved. And the idea here, of course, is to be physically fit and to be active here during the winter months when there's not usually as much activity going on. Walk Across Wilson, again, Saturday, February 1st is the kickoff event, and it all concludes on Saturday, March 21st with the finale celebration. All right, this morning we have Chief James Hadrick, Police Chief James Hadrick from the city of Mount Juliet. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our program again. I hope things are going well for you, and that you got the new year off and running. Today, I believe, is the 14th. We're not hardly halfway through January, but it's going in a hurry.
It's moving. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Anything new? The start of the year here in Mount Juliet for you? Any new laws or new things you have done locally, or even state things we might have changed?
Sure. We first we thank our community in our partnership for the year we had last year in review. We had a 10% reduction in crime, 8% increase in our clearance rate, and one thing that annually that it's one of my goals is to reduce the number of crashes in our city. And so we reduced crashes 16% last year. And so this year what's on the radar is our implementation of our ALPRs, which is our license plate readers. We're calling that program the Guardian Shield program. There are a lot of myths.
You've gotten some publicity out of that. I know there have been some television news stories done on that. And you aren't the only one. But it evidently is a way, and a good way, to catch people. That license plate reveals a lot.
And that's our aim and goal, Coleman, is to catch offenders. And we've noticed that there's been an increase around our Middle Tennessee area in stolen vehicles. Vehicles been stolen. And these individuals, some are juveniles, but they're stealing, for instance, vehicles from Nashville, driving them to Mount Juliet, to Lebanon, and our surrounding areas, driving, and they will, two things. One, either they're leave that stolen vehicle and get another vehicle, steal another vehicle out of our city and county, or they'll bring many individuals with them, a carload, and they go in the neighborhood, and as we've talked about before, they, go and check unlocked cars. They're trying to get unlocked cars.
Well, what's the purpose behind it? I mean, I would think if somebody's going to steal a car, they're stealing a car because they need it or want to go somewhere, and it seems like
It varies, man. We've been told they've located some of these vehicles, stolen vehicles, at schools in Nashville. They're driving them. We hear of individuals selling the vehicles to friends and things like that. But it's still criminal. And what we're trying to do with these ALPRs is to put them, especially at the entrances and exit of our city, to deter crime, and that we can capture once that stolen vehicle it's put on a hot list. That plate is entered, and once they come across that threshold where their camera is, that data is captured, and we're putting a number of cameras up in our city so that we can track and respond to where that vehicle is. And already through the trial phase of the program, we've been successful in apprehending criminals and recovering stolen vehicles.
well, that's good. Let's go back to what you mentioned. I think there were 3 different areas where you had a reduction in crashes was one of them. Go over that again.
Yeah, our crashes was down 16%. Our overall crime was down 10%, and our closure rate, our clearance rate, and that's the rate that we saw of crimes, went up 8% in this last year.
All right. So what I was going to ask you, what do you attribute that to? Because that those are some good numbers. That's something I think you can be proud of, kind of hang your hat on.
Some of the things that we implemented, one, our flex unit. Those are individuals that are out. They're in unmarked units, and they're specifically targeting different traffic in violations and things like that, and the concentration on different drugs, or they're sitting in the area watching for people, shoplifters, and different things like that.
All right. Now, as far as crashes go, what are you? Is speeding one of the big things, or is it something else that you feel that if you correct or slow down is going to improve your rate?
Well, most of our crashes, in my opinion, are attributed to inattentiveness or distracted driving. So we've been staying on top of that by our enforcement efforts, the phone law, cell phone law and things like that, and having people dedicated. We also, this past year, implemented what we call a CEU, or a community engagement unit, that they're in our neighborhoods. They are also dedicated to traffic enforcement as well. And so I attribute these two things, two different units coming on, is attributing to our decrease for sure.
What have you increased in some of those areas for this year? What are you doing to maybe have some good numbers this time next year?
Well, we're always striving to improve, so we want to even improve on these numbers, and that some of it comes through our proactive policing instead of being reactive. We want to be proactive. We want to be visible. A lot of people think that Mount Judah has just an overwhelming amount of officers, but that's because of we want to be visible, and we want to be approachable, and the information that's shared with our community, we get a lot of community support to feedback.
Not to necessarily put you on the spot here, but is as far as these crashes are concerned, would inattention or not paying proper attention maybe cause more of that than actually speeding?
Sure. And because when I read the reports, majority of them are rear end crashes. And so somebody said that when they looked up, well, when I look back, well, that's telling you that they were distracted and doing something else in the vehicle. I didn't see the car stop in front of me and didn't have time to. And so all of those play certainly into attentiveness.
You don't have many, if any, traffic fatalities inside city limits, do you?
Not many, not many.
Do you remember having any last year?
One outside, I believe we had one.
Yeah. Well, by the way, how much do you patrol the interstate? I was going to Nashville last weekend. I remember seeing somebody pulled over, and it was a Mountain Dew police car.
Yeah, we are, because of the interstate part of I-40 that's inside the city limits. Our guys are out and enforcing the traffic laws, and it's dangerous, as you know. But that's part of the city. I've had people say both ways. I've had people call me and say, "Hey, I don't think your guys need to be out on the interstate." And then I've had people call me and say, "Hey, these people are flying on the interstate, so I need more enforcement."
Well, speed is definitely something that you would be watching there, I would think. But still, the faster you're going, and the less attentive you are, you're still asking for trouble, and it's a lot harder to react at 80 miles an hour than it is 35 or 40.
Right, and you spoke about this last week. We were already working a crash on the interstate. Our officers, and they had lights and they had everything that they were supposed to have on in a car, not even stopping. I mean, going 70 miles an hour, just crashed into the rear of our patrol car. And so he said he dropped his orange juice or something, but whatever it was inattentive, and it's dangerous. And just we're blessed that nobody was seriously hurt in that incident.
Probably a lot of property damage.
Yes, for sure.
What did it pretty much mess up your police car?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you have insurance to take care of that.
we can repair and fix and replace vehicles, but the people we can't replace.
Right. Mount Juliet Police Chief James Hambrick is here. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. Up to 5 quarts of oil, tax, and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Heavy traffic flow continues out here, especially on the west side as they clear up that Rec 40 East just past OHB coming in from Dixon County. Heavy down Ellington Parkway right now. A lot of traffic still trying to get around that truck crash out in Smith County, 40 East out around the 251 mile marker. That's just east of Lebanon, Wilson County. Give yourself extra time. Hey, be sure to check out Ober Gatlinburg's Ober Rocks 2020, January 25th. All the details at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
Why settle for an ordinary mower when you can have an Exmark zero-radius turn mowers that have been beautifying landscapes for more than 3 decades? Take advantage of Exmark's Triple Play sales event. Buy now and you'll pay no interest till March, no payment till April, plus $1,000 off all Radius X and S models. Buy now and restart your warranty till April 2020. Top landscape pros purchase Exmark 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main in Lebanon or visit them online at www.absolutekubota.com.
Coleman and Company here on a Tuesday morning. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And again, just a quick reminder of the Walk Across Wilson. It actually takes place throughout the month of February and kicks off on Saturday, February 1st, the kickoff event. And the idea is that you're active enough during the month of February to walk however many miles it is across Wilson County. And they will help you do it. They have a presence on Facebook. You can go there. They hope you will like them. And you can also contact number is 615-444-5325, extension extension 1014. 444-5325, extension 1014. Police Chief James Hambrick is with us. We've talked about good statistics for 2019. You've implemented some things to slow down crashes. That was the thing that impressed me the most. I guess you're going to reduce crashes by 16%. That's correct. That's a good number. Now, whether you can say you 16% on top of that for this year would be nice.
Would be great. Would be great.
And of course those cameras that we could talk a little bit more about that. That's costing the city some pretty big bucks, isn't it?
Yes, certainly a cost associated with it to and a big number, but. Our desire is that we keep our community safe, and not only just Mount Juliet, but Wilson County. Again, these cameras are going to be at the edge of our city, our entrances and exits of our city, and it's hopefully what we would do is deter. We definitely want to catch those that are, in stolen vehicles and things, but also as a deterrent, and we've seen that in other cities happen when people find out that these cameras are up, these criminals find out that these cameras are up in the cities, then they go somewhere else. Yeah. So that's one of the things for our community to give a peace of mind, because it's been stated that, it's Big Brother and we're trying to capture personal information, and that's not so. We're only capturing that data that's on the hot list. It's not tracking where an individual, they said you're going to be tracking people going into different businesses. We're not, the camera doesn't do that. And we don't do that with any information. The personal information is not captured.
But at the same time, they're sophisticated enough, though, to recognize a license tag on a suspected stolen vehicle and call your attention to that, immediately, I guess.
Sure. Within seconds of reading that, and the reason we're doing multiple locations within the city is if that vehicle passes multiple cameras, then our officers are not just trying to look for a needle in a haystack. They have an idea of the area that the vehicle's in. We've one of the things that we had someone that had committed aggravated crime against his wife, and this happened in Franklin, but he was in the vehicle here and was apprehended here. And so it's already worked.
Do you feel like a lot of other cities are going to implement this, even in Middle Tennessee? Those maybe who feel they can afford it.
Sure. Some of our agencies that already have them, Belmead, Hendersonville. Who else has these? Franklin.
They are.
Franklin, the airport, I believe Brentwood is going to them as well. And so with that information, also there may be a possibility of being able to share the information with these other agencies, because these criminals are going from place to place, not just Mount Juliet, not just Lebanon, but they're going to other cities as well.
Do you find that most people who are involved in stealing these cars, are they younger people, even teenagers? Or do you have many 40-year-olds that do that?
What we've seen is it's been primarily a younger age group, and juveniles and young adults, mainly, that we've seen.
Well, hopefully this is going to be a deterrent, and they will go somewhere else. And that'll be great. It'd be better if they just quit it altogether.
Sure.
But let's talk about it, because I've heard so many that I have talked to over the years, so many in police and law enforcement and this sort of thing, talk about the drug. There's so much crime is related to drugs, either people with a habit or drug trafficking. And I think I've even heard that from you.
Sure.
That is the root cause, it seems, of an awful lot of crime.
It is. It's definitely a nexus to drug activity, or people being addicted and trying to support that habit that they have, and the result of criminal activity, to be able to steal or shoplifting and different things like that. All those things are have a nexus to the drug activity.
And I don't think any of us know all the ramifications as to why there are, I guess, multiple reasons as to why it happens, but we do have the problem. And once somebody is addicted, it's really a horrible situation to be in. But I've always felt so much more. I guess animosity would be the word, towards the drug dealer, those who are out here making money at somebody else's expense, in not only money, but in what it's doing to them.
Sure. Agreed. I mean,
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's the word that is captured, whether you're talking about a local drug dealer on the street or whether you're talking about big pharma. It's about greed. It's about wanting as much money as they can get without considering life, without considering.
Well, we've heard of a lot of drugs, this kind of coming across the Mexican border, U.S.-Mexican border, and making their way here. And then we hear that at times that it gets suppressed a little bit and maybe slows down a little bit. But is that the source for most of it, as far as you know?
Yes, a lot of it from there. We was hearing, and what I was hearing is that the heroin, marijuana, cocaine, different thing, even the fentanyl was coming from Mexico. And however, here recently, within this last year, we were hearing that even China, a lot of the fentanyl was coming from China.
Well, they are so sophisticated in the way they can smuggle that in, and all kind of things that maybe the average person wouldn't even think of doing, and there is certainly is a measure of success that they have.
Sure, and because of the opiate, it's not what we call the stereotypical drug user or a drug dealer. This thing gets bought and sold over the internet, and I mean it impacts everybody's family. It's been impacted, no doubt.
Well, I've read that there's I don't know what they call them, or the drug cartels, what the word is, but anyway, that the drug lords that are in Mexico even have the rulers there, the leaders in Mexico won't go after them much, I guess, because they're scared of them. I mean, they carry a big stick.
Yeah, no doubt. It's dangerous, and it's we use that term war, but we have to be diligent and vigilant about what we allow in our community, and we're praying that we will have that Wilson County and Mount Juliet, Lebanon, Watertown, our whole county would be safe, and that we would have a supportive community. And what I mean by that is that overall, that we would have open communication, that we would have shared communication, and that our communities would know that they can talk with their law enforcement agencies, and that we're going to do the best that we can to make this county the safest county it can be.
Well, I feel sure that you do your best, too, in Mount Juliet to have a presence in the community and maybe go to the schools to do programs, try to encourage these young people to stay on the straight and narrow, if you will, and not get lost out there.
Hey, sure, but that's, and that's challenging with the fact that when we talk about these vaping products, and these companies, they say they don't manufacture or make this for kids, but their marketing, you can definitely tell that they're seeking out and the marketing to our youth. When you have gummy bear and all these different flavors and things that there, and it's been problematic, and we're trying to address those in the best way we can.
Well, of course, we know too that the breakdown of home and family has its effect here, and that's something a police chief can't do a whole lot about, but you can work with them as best you can, and I'm sure that you have a lot of respect from even the young people in Mount Juliet.
Well, the overall thing is we want our community to know that we care, and it's not just going to work every day as a job. We truly care about our young and age, and just our community at large, and that's something that our men and women go out every day with a commitment and with a purpose that we want to serve and protect in the best way we can to again make Mount Juliet, make Wilson County the safest place it can be.
Well, we're about to come to the end of our time here this morning. Got a minute left. Anything you want to say before we let you get back to your job?
Yeah, man.
Oh, this is part of your job, too.
Well, saying to all your listeners, Coleman, Happy New Year. 2020 means to me perfect vision and clarity. So we're hoping that we're seeing clearer in this year of things, and want to wish you a happy belated birthday, man.
Oh, well, thank you. It was a nice whole week, to be honest about it, but it kind of ended, I guess it ended Sunday maybe.
No, let it go on through the year, man. Celebrate all year.
Well, you're kind. I thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate our conversation, and just keep up the good work.
Thank you, Cole.
All right. That's Mount Juliet Police Chief James Hambrick, and our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital with the 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, and a reminder of Walk Across Wilson during the month of February, and we'll have more to say about that as the time draws near. That's part one of Coleman and Company. Please keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And to 728, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota and Rental Lamprey. Quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still heavy traffic out here on 24, trying to get up through the Hickory Hollow area. Coming in from Rutherford County. Sure, we've seen a couple of wrecks, including that one earlier, 40 East out around OHB out on the west side. Still trying to finish up the paperwork on a crash. It happened there in a 4500 block of Packard Drive at South Nashville. Traffic's heavy through Brentwood right now, 65 going north. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. Check it out for lunch today, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
You will need the umbrella as you head out the door this morning. Showers are in the forecast for your Tuesday. It will be warm out there again today. Hasseltop out in the mid-60s. If you're going to be out and about this evening, the chance for rain will continue. Close tonight will bottom out in the lower 50s. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, welcome to the second half part two. John Dozier joins us as he does each Tuesday, and we talk about Hearthside Senior Living.
Good morning. We can continue our sports talk just for a second.
Well, we're all excited about the Titans. What a turnaround! I mean, they were 2-4.
It's amazing.
And now they have an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl.
About 20 years ago, they were there last time, and I remember my oldest was very little, so it's amazing how, these things don't come around as much as we'd like, so it's exciting.
And as far as last night goes, we haven't talked about this on the air, but LSU did beat Clemson, the SEC. The cream rose to the top.
I'm always for the SEC, and you stayed up the whole game. I did not, and your next guest did not, I don't think, so congratulations to you.
Well,
you're 80 now. I don't see how you do it.
Well, I don't require, and my daddy was like this. He could stay up late and get up early, and didn't seem to affect him that much. Now, my wife might have a little bit different story because sometimes I do nap during the day.
Well, you deserve it. You deserve that.
But I enjoy it.
So you're fine this morning. You're ready to go.
Pulling for the SEC.
Yes, me too.
Although I kind of like Clemson, but when they were playing Alabama, you know how some of us hate Alabama a little bit.
Yes.
And anyway, but it was a good game, and
college football's over, and get ready for next year.
Yeah, get ready for Sunday afternoon's Titans Kansas City game.
2:05, I believe. Yeah, so be ready for that.
Yeah. I hope they can pull it off.
I do too.
Well, you've got a great thing going for you.
We really do. I love it. Hearthside Senior Living. You know, we kind of rebranded maybe last year. You know, we're Hearthside Senior Living now. We have our assisted living, of course, that's been there, Coleman, since 1994. It's a great tradition. Many people have been served in that community, and in 2020 we continue to offer that great service. We over the past few weeks we've had a couple of rooms open up, and those are beginning to fill back up. So if you're looking for a small or large room, we have 2 of those available right now, but they're starting to fill up, and we're excited about new folks coming in. And it's always neat to, you know, you get attached to a lot of people, then they have to leave, maybe go to a memory care, or maybe they go to another place, but it's wonderful to have new folks come in.
Well, you've been doing this, somebody's been doing this since
1994. That's right.
And your retirement community
started in 2010, and it's
10 years old.
Yeah, and it's about to be completed. We're excited about 2 new folks moving into our final homes, and we'll have 30 completed. You know, in 10 years we'll have 30 homes there, and we're excited about having all those filled up, and we have a waiting list for that community as well. So a lot of good things going on at Hearthside Senior Living.
Have you got some other plans that maybe you're working on?
Yes, we do. In fact, we're working hard right now preparing for a remodel. We're going to remodel the assisted living. It needs a little TLC. You know, It's been there since 1994. It's a beautiful structure and beautiful rooms, and but we need to do a little work there. So we're going to work on that in 2020. And then maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, we plan to build a 4th wing on the assisted living, either make it part of the assisted living or probably make it some independent living apartments. We're looking at that. But we've got some plans moving forward, and we're working on it. We've got a board meeting coming up in 2 weeks, and we're going to share some details there.
Well, you don't just sit still, and times change, and you to keep up, you kind of have to change with the times.
You do, and you know, assisted livings are, you think, pretty much, you know, people do what they do every single day, but it really is an active community. The building is used, of course, 24/7, so you've got to keep up. You've got to keep it up.
Well, you've got I don't know how many people work there, but there are a number of people. You have a pretty big staff.
We got 35 folks, you know, that from housekeeping to RAs to nurses to our kitchen staff. So it's a big, it's a nice big operation there, and they do a great job. I couldn't do it without them. You know, I go in there sometimes on the weekends, and they're working hard. You know, these people show up at 5 a.m. in the morning every single day to do laundry. So I really appreciate them. I can't. I know anytime you're in charge of an operation, you appreciate the people that work with you. It's amazing.
Are you hiring now?
Right now, we are fully staffed. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of turnover lately, which is very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything else you want to tell us before you get to your Hearthside hello?
No, just call us if you are in need of assisted living or independent living. Our number is 615-443-1994. You can check out our website at hearthsideliving.com. Our Facebook page has a lot of activity on there, so we're all over the place. Or stop by for a tour. That's what a lot of people do. We had several people yesterday stop by for our tour. Our Hearthside hello, Coleman, is Abby Stafford. She's with the Medicis. Uh-huh. She is a wonderful person. She takes care of our residents when they need home health, and her birthday's this week, so she's a friend of Hearthside. So Hearthside hello to Abby Stafford.
All right. Well, the Hearthside hello is always a thing that I'm sure the people who listen, it makes people listen to your commercial more because they wait to get to the end of that because they wonder who
I'm always glad to do it.
And wonder, will it be me?
Well, it will be if I keep going. You know, it will be. I promise.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you later.
All right, that is Sean Dozier. He's Executive Director of Hearthside Senior Living. They're located at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North. And again, that phone number is 615-443-1994. Well, today's the day we have Scott Benson come and be with us. Mr. Benson is the Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District, and we welcome you again. Good morning.
Outstanding. Good morning, Coleman.
You said you slept through most of the game last night?
Not most of the game. I did make it till halftime, and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and lay down, and I did. But I woke up a few times and checked on the score, and not long after it was over, I saw the final score. So, but yeah, I gave in to feeling sleepy.
I know that you're one of those guys who you've been a Vanderbilt fan, but you follow the Vols, and your son went there, so I'm sure are happy about their victory over Indiana, and it was Gator Bowl, I believe.
It was, and up until he went to school there, I had never had orange in my closet, so I now have black and gold and orange. I also have Ole Miss colors in my closet as well now, but I wore orange that day and was cheering on the Vols, so that was a big win for them.
Well, I know that you're excited about the Titans. I think unless we're just I don't know. There's something about this team, especially, that has really grabbed me. When they started out 2-4, and now have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, that's a turnaround.
An amazing turnaround. Yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, were probably really close to giving up on them back when we were 2-4 and things weren't looking so hot. But just amazing turnaround. They're playing well. I think the entire state is a buzz as a result of the playoff run here. And heck, one win away from possibly going to the Super Bowl. Sean mentioned that it was about 20 years ago. I remember that as well. And Coleman, a funny thing, I was telling this story yesterday that maybe I should get some of this credit. I've been a season ticket holder for years and years with the Titans, and for the last several years been thinking about giving them up. And I would always say to my family, I can't give them up now, because if I give them up, we'll go to the Super Bowl. Well, I didn't renew my tickets this year for the first time in, 15 years. And I wasn't mad, just different circumstances. I ended up going, I think, to every home game but one, but I was not a season ticket holder. So that might come true. I gave up my tickets, and now we might go to the Super Bowl.
Well, it's if nothing else, it's a conversation piece and something for us fans to get excited about.
Hey, we've needed something to be excited
and
about.
See a team do a turnaround, and they've had some good talent there, but it's just like they couldn't put it all together.
Yeah.
But they really have in the last few weeks.
And those of us who have followed them for a long time, the Titans, this was a revenge game this past week against the Ravens. And that was vivid in my mind going into it, that we needed to pay them back.
Well, I'll say one more thing about that. I've mentioned this a time or two, but I think the defensive coordinator did an outstanding job in that game, because they let that quarterback ramble some, but they contained him pretty well, and they scored one touchdown?
Yes, and that was late.
Yeah.
That was a late touchdown, yeah. I think you're right. We're quick to criticize coaches. I try not to be, but as a society we are. And so I agree with you. I think the coaching staff, both offensive side, defensive side, Coach Vrabel as well, deserve a lot of credit here with the run we're making.
Well, what's happening with the Lebanon Special School?
Hey, we're off and running in the new year. Hard to believe that it's January 2020, but we're in our second full week of school. Coming back, we had a stockpile day on the 3rd, so that was a teacher work day for us, and we started back school last Monday. So we're hard at it, and hopefully teaching and learning every single day and having a little fun while we're doing it.
Well, let me ask this, because I know at one time in the fall there, the flu sickness was a big thing.
Right.
I just wondered what it's been like since the first of the year.
That's a good question. And we were highly monitoring that a couple different times before Christmas, because our numbers had really spiked as far as absentee numbers and illness and that sort of thing. And I haven't done an official check like I would normally do when I'm highly monitoring that, but I have spoken to a nurse or two walking through and just ask them how it's going. And we've had a few customers, as we call them, go through the clinic, but nothing like it was before. And our numbers are looking good for as we start the new semester here in January. So it would appear, at least for now, that we're over what we were experiencing in November and December. And we actually, in our school district, we experienced it in both months, right before Thanksgiving and then right before Christmas. So it appears to be good right now, but we'll keep our fingers crossed on that.
There's still, I guess we're all still a buzz a little bit about the new school that you're building.
Yeah, we are.
Jones Brummett Elementary.
We are. I can give you an update. I was prepared to do that. I always bring 2 or 3 things to talk about, and sometimes we get to them, sometimes we don't. But that was one of them.
Well, let's get to that, and then we'll take a break.
Okay. Hey, yeah, we're moving right along. We are right on schedule, even though we've experienced some heartache, so to speak, in our excavation and our site work there. I've talked about that on the air before, that underground we experienced some issues there, but our team has worked really hard and worked overtime, I guess. They had some lights set up working at night sometimes as well. But we're on schedule to start with some of the foundation in January, and we've had our building pad is now. If you've gone by lately, I asked you that last time, and you hadn't gone by.
Well,
I've got some pictures I'll show you off air. Yeah, we're right on target, and there's a lot's going on behind the scenes, and even though when you drive by every day or you stop by, you can see the site work and the excavation going on, but our team and of construction managers and architect and on engineers, they're working every day, planning and approving the different packages that will take place during the construction. So we're pleased with where we are and moving forward. Yeah.
Well, if you don't have too many rainy days or days to prevent work, why maybe you can stay on schedule.
Yeah.
If you do. When will this be complete?
Yeah, we've got some time built in. So should we have some inclement weather and delays and things like that, because we're looking right now the spring of 21 completion, and we're looking at a August 21 start date. So we feel really good about our schedule, and even if we have some circumstances that should delay us a little bit, that we'll still be in good shape.
All right. Scott Benson is Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District. He's here, and we got a lot more to talk about after this break on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitors pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. Still heavy traffic out here on 40, trying to get through Hermitage, Donaldson right now. Westbound traffic on 40, passing the airport. Harding Place at Citgo Drive at South Nashville on an accident tying up that intersection. Still a lot of traffic out here on 65 coming past Long Hollow Pike. All that traffic coming down out of Robertson, Sumner County. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. It's worth that drive to 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
John Boyce here from the Scoreboard Show. For the first time ever, we will be extending the Scoreboard Show to include all of Wilson County High School and college basketball. Trent Perry and I will give you all the basketball scores from the county, as well as interviews from the coaches every Friday night from 9 to 11 right here on WANT FM 98.9. The Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Designers Carpet, Absolute Kubota, Kay Maynard with State Farm Insurance, Sheriff Robert Bryan and Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Dickey's Barbecue, and Southeast Motorsports.
Coleman and Company here on this Tuesday. Scott Benson, Director of Schools, is with us. You're telling me that you did not have a board meeting last night.
We did not. We typically will not meet in January, just right after the holidays. So we did not have a need necessarily to meet. So we did not.
Well, there's no reason to meet just to meet. Really.
That's right. That's right. We're accused of that in education a lot of having too many meetings, and we are guilty of that. But if we don't have to have a board meeting, why should we? So January is typically a time, just that time of year, that we will not have one.
Yeah. Well, what do we have to talk about this morning?
Yeah, I want to mention a few things. Let me start with, this is exciting, with Teachers of the Year, our Teachers of the Year and Parapros of the Year. And we've gone through the process of nominating those individuals and choosing those individuals. And matter of fact, our instructional team at the central office today will meet about all of our Teachers of the Year, and they will select the representative that will go on to compete for the state Teacher of the Year. But locally here, of course, we always have our fabulous Teacher of the Year banquet put on by Wilson County Motors and Cedarstone Bank.
Right.
I think that comes up early April, so always excited about that. But want to recognize these folks. And with Sean a little bit, you talked about employees and having good people. And I say that a lot on the air, that we're blessed in the Lebanon Special School District. We have wonderful people working for us every day. So I want to mention these folks, if I could, Coleman.
Yes.
Our Teachers of the Year. You might know some of these. At Byers Dowdy, Cindy Spickard. Cindy's been teaching for us for a long, long time, and she does a wonderful job, and she is the Teacher of the Year at Byers Dowdy. Rachel Franklin is the Teacher of the Year at Castle Heights Elementary. Gwen Jennings is the Teacher of the Year for Coles Ferry Elementary. Tuesday Henson is the Teacher of the Year at Sam Houston Elementary. Cecilia Lockhart is the Teacher of the Year at Walter J. Baird Middle. And Evie Chang is the Teacher of the Year at Winfrey Bryant Middle School. So we're real proud of these ladies and what they do on a daily basis, and we celebrate with them and being recognized.
Oh, I think one of the things you've done for several years is to put their name on the school's marquee or the whatever you call it.
Oh, yeah. We all
and
school
leave it up
sign
there
out
for a
front.
good
We
while.
always do that, and I know we've done that with some of these. I don't know that we've done it with all of them yet, but I've seen that as I drive around. So
well, that's nice, and it's some extra recognition, and I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, outstanding. So our Parapros of the Year as well, and some folks may not know, but our paraprofessionals in our school district, they assist teachers, and they are involved with instruction somewhat. They are involved in supervision and just assisting the teacher. They do not have a teaching license, but they're very important, instrumental in us carrying out our mission as well. So we're very appreciative of all of our parapros, but we want to recognize and announce now on your show our parapros of the year: Christina Mosley at Byers Dowdy, Makisha Robertson at Castle Heights, Amanda Walden at Coles Ferry, Debbie Denny at Sam Houston, Heather Brown at Walter J. Baird, and Rebecca Wilson at Winfrey Bryant. So those folks are wonderful as well, and we're happy to celebrate with them.
My wife did that for maybe 25
I'm
years,
aware.
so I'm familiar with that and kind of what they do. A lot of you mentioned supervision. I remember she used to monitor the cafeteria.
Okay,
at
that's
times.
right.
If they got too bad, she'd turn the lights out.
Asking about
support for the teachers.
Absolutely.
And, like making copies of papers and all.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Some of it is kind of menial task, but somebody's got to do it, and they do a good job.
It is. And one thing that's really happened over the last 5 years or so, their role has become more instructional. And we're really asking them, and it's just where we are in education today, we're really asking them, especially to work with small groups of children on skills that may be needed. So they play a vital role in what we do as a school district. And like I said, we're just excited to recognize these folks as well. But yeah, you've got experience. You married to one.
Well, I don't know about when you went to school, whether we had that or not. There was no such thing as that when I went to school, but schools change, and as I was saying earlier, we change with the times. But
we do.
But there's there's just so much more to education today than there once was, Scott.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It changes every year, really, from my chair and where I sit, from the time when I was a teacher in the classroom, even the time when I was a principal. And of course, those years are sneaking up on me now. My last year to be a principal was 2010, but we've changed so much since then. You're absolutely right.
Well, one of the things I think to your advantage is the fact that you have had a career in education, and you have been a classroom teacher. You have been a principal. You've done all these things, which has got to increase your experience has got to be valuable in what you do now.
Absolutely, I think so. I think it's helped me along the way. I think too in my situation, being local as well, with knowing how we've done things and having contacts and relationships, long-time relationships and those kind of things too. And speaking of relationships, and we were talking about this in the office just yesterday, that so many of our parents now in the district that have children, I had those folks in school, a lot of them, and so that's
well. I'll tell you a couple of other things that you can draw on as well. I mean, Andy Brummett was a teacher at one time. He was a principal. He was sitting in the director's chair for a good while as well. And Steve Jones, although I don't think he's done any of that, he seems to really have his finger on the education process and what needs to be done, and I guess
absolutely
they're two good sounding boards.
And you're talking about experience once again, of folks that have been there, done that for a long time for our district.
And that's not to discredit Mr. Tomlinson. He's
absolutely.
Your other member. I don't know him as well.
And he's been on the board a long time now too. Yeah, he's been serving since 2006. On our board. So we have a lot of experience there. And let me tie in this. I want, if I can change the subject almost, because I wanted to bring this up, and we're talking about a little history here. Had some conversations the last few months with board members about the history of our district, et cetera. In our last board meeting in December, the board officially asked me to do this, and I'm happy to do this. And we've had conversations the last couple of weeks in the office with individuals, but the board has asked me to put a committee of folks together and work on putting together the history of the Lebanon Special School District. And just in a conversation we had, in our office, we have pictures of former superintendents. We've got Dr. Roberts there. We've got Andy Brummett. We've got Cordell Winfrey. We got Mr. Dowdy. But we don't have any pictures prior to that. And we were in a conversation, who was the superintendent prior to Mr. Dowdy? Well,
was it Mr. Robinson?
I tell you what, he was one of them. He was one of them. And I'll tell you how I know that. Beth Petty, Beth Petty, she's going to be on our committee, and so she's really excited about this. Diane Vantrease, you may know Diane as a longtime teacher with us as well, and she's now retired, but she's going to help with this. But Beth brought to me the other day, she had been in our vault, and she brought board minute books, the minutes of our board meetings. And so I was flipping through and reading, and I'm going to do a lot of this, hopefully, in my spare time over the next several months, but in the 30s and 40s and 50s, looking at the board minutes. And
well, let me, how far back, when did this?
That's a good question, and I don't know how far back we have at this point.
Well, when did the special school district start?
1901.
Okay.
We were created in 1901. All right. And I don't know that we'll have records that go back that far. But you mentioned Robertson. Is that the name you brought up? I can tell you just in a brief meeting.
Yeah, David Robinson was his name, and he had a son named David Robinson.
Okay.
He was the quarterback when Clifton Tribble was the fullback on the football team.
Okay, we need to get you on our committee probably. Put you to work, Coleman. But just in a brief 10, 15-minute meeting last week with Beth Petty when we were talking about this, and she brought those minute books in my office. And just flipping through them, I found 3 former superintendent names that I was not aware of. Robinson was one of them. I think Wilson might have been one, two initials, Wilson, I don't remember what it was, and then a Sloan, I think.
Gene Sloan.
I don't remember the first name.
Could have been. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to put all this together, and I'm not sure of the format yet, but I think there will be a lot of folks like you. We've sparked your interest this morning,
yes,
Coleman,
you have.
and putting together the history of the Lebanon Special School District, and I think that will be valuable not only to people like you and I now, but as time moves on, if we don't put this together for folks, it probably will not exist.
I think you're right, and I have an idea that there are some elderly people out there who might have some input for this.
Yeah, and that's sort of why I wanted. That's sort of why I wanted to mention it today. That and we're going to put it out through the media that we're doing this as well, and hopefully spark a little interest. But yeah, if folks are out there and they have information like you do, or want to be a part of this in some way, reach out to us at the office. Our number is in the book, so to speak, and emails and that sort of thing as well. So we would love to hear from you. But we've unofficially started this project, and we're going to really get organized over the next several weeks.
Will you have I'm sure you have this information available on your website, so on. But will it be some kind of publication or some kind of paper that
a finished product?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, we haven't gotten that far yet. So we're not sure what the finished product is going to look like. I tell you what, Beth Petty was involved in the history of Tucker's Crossroads a few years ago, right. And she brought that with her when she came to my office last week. And that's a bound book with all sorts of information. I don't know that we'll be that elaborate with it, but we may. It just depends on sort of how it goes. But we're in the beginning stages of this. But
well, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Got 1 minute.
1 minute. Hey, let me mention this, and this is one thing I wanted to talk about today. Coming up on the ballot on March 3rd, early voting starts February 12th, the sales tax referendum. And we're putting together a flyer, an informational flyer that we're going to send out to our teachers and our families, et cetera, giving them facts about the upcoming referendum on the sales tax. And it's from 9.25 to 9.75. And the education portion of that revenue is going to be designated for teacher salaries. Right. That's in Wilson County, so that includes Wilson County Schools and the Lebanon Special School District. So I want to be a part of informing the public on what that money is going to be designated for. And I'm an advocate for teachers, and I always say, we don't pay them enough. Well, this is an opportunity for our county to step up and invest in teacher salaries. And I'll give you just a few bits of information here. That increase from 9.25 to 9.75, Coleman, if you spent $10 in our community, that equates to about a nickel. Right. About a nickel of what you would spend. So that's very little. One other thing, it's estimated that about 30% of our sales tax revenue is collected from people that don't even live here. Yeah. So if we made that increase, folks that drive through Wilson County, that visit Wilson County, they could help us pay for this teacher salary increase. So we're like I said, we're putting together a flyer that we're going to send to our folks, and just wanted to mention that briefly this morning.
All right. We thank you for being here, and hopefully see you next month.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coleman.
Scott Benson, Director of Schools, Lebanon Special School District, and that is it for a Tuesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.